you mentioned $200.
Yes.
And they have this training, this clinic. Where does that money come from? Because they obviously don't have it.
Right. That comes from generous people here in America, Canada. We have some people who donated from England, Australia. But all the donations from people here, from the generosity of their hearts, it really transforms the lives of these people.
It sure does. It not only helps heal the condition that they have, but it gives them some kind of a tool to work with, to share with other people, and to make a living.
Right.
Very good.
And we also have microcredit loans. These are for the women. We tried it with men, and somehow with the guys it didn't work too well. But the women have been more of the business people there, because they're the people that would take their produce to the market and barter and sell and bargain, whereas the men have been more involved with tilling the ground. So we found that the women were really good about it. We keep them accountable. We have a council of elders at each clinic that the women have actually voted for. So there are 3 people that are on the council of elders that they will make sure that the loans are being repaid regularly. They'll make sure that the women are coming to clinic, that they're taking care of their feet. And one thing that we require them to do is help out with the older women, help them cook, help them clean their houses. So they get this money, which normally is about $75 that they get loaned in a year. They have to pay back 10% of that every month. So they're kept accountable. If they do a good job, then they can reapply to get another loan in the following year. So we have the vocational training, we have the microcredit loans, and then also we are giving out the shoes to children, which is the prevention. So those are kind of the main prongs of the whole project.
Okay. Do you have some specific stories of the people that have been afflicted with this disease and how you've been able to help them?
Yes, we do. And another thing that I forgot to tell about, another important part of our project, is that we're working together with the local churches and community. There are women that have been abandoned due to their disease. The husband will leave them because he's embarrassed about his wife's condition, or women that are widows, and they're left in a very impoverished state, where they live in a little tiny hut that literally I've seen them twisted and falling down, and the grass thatch off the house where the wild animals could actually look into the house at night, the hyenas. So we brought this to the awareness of a church here in the U.S. And they said that they would raise money. A year ago, Christmas, the Koine Church raised $38,000 in that 1 month. They said, rather than buying a lot of presents for ourselves, for our friends, for our family that don't need them, let's give to somebody who really needs it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So they raised $38,000. And with that, we have been supplying the roofing, the door, the windows, and the nails. And Pastor Zowdy, who is on our staff, has been gathering local community leaders and church leaders, talking to them. He has a PowerPoint to explain what the cause of the disease is, what the plight of these women is, and to get them engaged in helping. So they supply the poles, cut down the trees, supply the poles, the mudding for the houses, and the labor. So it's joint working together with the local churches, the community leaders, and the Mossy Foot Project. And we're really encouraged to see this, because even though the Ethiopians are poor, they are giving from their funds to help with this. So it's not just America helping out and being the answer to their problems, but it is a joint effort that they're actually owning this and helping out the widows.
Do you find that to be the right way to go for these people, where they can actually be a part of the solution?
Yes. I feel like it's really important for them to see that they can be a part of the solution. Because we've seen people that have gone into the churches that have mossy foot disease, where they've been told, wouldn't you just stay at home and worship? Your feet smell bad. Other people won't want to be around, or go sit in the back by yourself. So even in the churches, there's been some stigma against these people. And the stigma is so terrible. You asked to hear a story. There's a little girl, Leah, and now she is one of our healthcare agents. But she was going to school with her sisters and her brother until she was about 8, 9 years old. And then her feet started to swell and itch and burn. And after a while, she couldn't hide it any longer. And when she went to school, the other kids would taunt her and say, Leah, what's the matter with your feet? Look, they look so ugly. And after a while, she was so distraught that she started skipping class and eventually just dropped out. And it made her feel better for a while. But then she went to get water at the river, and there was a lady there who was really unkind to her and said, Leah, look at your feet. They're so ugly. Why are you here? Do you want us to get sick too? Do you want us to get this disease? He said, nobody's going to want you. Nobody wants to marry you. And in Ethiopia, if nobody will marry a young girl, your life is practically over. There's not much that you can do in life. So she went home and just cried and was just really distraught. And finally she decided that all she could do was kill herself. So she got some poison that she was going to take. And the night before she couldn't sleep, she was really afraid of death. But she felt like that was the only answer for her. So in the morning, her mom and dad went out to the field. Her sisters and brother went to school. She was there by herself. And she started just crying because she was afraid. The neighbors came by and said, Leah, what's the matter? And they got out of her that that the woman had been so unkind to her and that she was going to kill herself. And they said, oh, no, no, and they got the poison away from her. Well, Leah still was just in this black, depressed mood. And then again, she tried to kill herself. This time she tried to hang herself from the tree.
And she actually literally put the rope around her neck and was ready to kill herself.
Right, right. And so the neighbors heard, they somehow saw her out there and they came and rescued her. And the neighbors were Christians. They invited Leah to go to church with them. So she did go to church with them. And the pastor was preaching about the resurrection, that we would have new and glorified bodies. And that just really intrigued Leah. So she went to talk with him and said, if I became a Christian, when Christ returns, am I going to have normal feet? And he said, yes. Well, she gave her heart to Jesus, and at that time, her heart totally changed. Her physical condition was the same, but she didn't have the depression anymore. She had a joy. She had a hope. And then she went to market one day, and somebody from the Mossy Foot Project saw Leah and said, you know, we can help you. Come to the clinic. We can help you. So she came to the clinic, and she got help. And as she came regularly, her feet started to get better. And today, she is a worker. We notice that she is a bright, compassionate person. She was trained to be one of our healthcare agents, and she's a very hardworking young woman. She's married. She has 2 children, and her feet look really pretty good. And it's just that she has this heart to help because she's been helped, and she knows that there's hope.
That's a fabulous story. Now, tell me about maybe another story about children. How young have you seen this disease affect a child? And do you have any stories of how a child has been able to get through that?
Yes. There's one little boy, Abraham, that I would see at the clinics when we go out there. And his feet were already swollen. And rather than giving out these little plastic shoes, we're making now a leather shoe for the children that already have the disease because they're more breathable. They're better for their skin. They're more expensive. That's why we can't give that shoe to everybody. But Abraham came regularly. His mother brought him to clinic all the time, and she was a single mom. Her husband had left her. So I saw Abraham over the period of about 5 years. And then most recently, when I was out there last year, I saw him again. He looked up at me grinning, and he had on regular tennis shoes that his mother had bought in the village at the market because his feet now are normal. So if we catch them early in those early stages and treat them, this disease is reversible.
That's fabulous. And what about the old?
The
elderly.
The ones that have the disease that are in a much more advanced stage will have to treat their feet continually all their lives. And of course, they need to be protected. They have to have shoes on. They cannot be exposed to the soil because the disease will come back. They just have to keep treating their feet all the time. However, what's encouraging is there is so much improvement in the feet. And I wish I brought this picture. Maybe we can give it to you so you can put it on. This one young man landed up on our doorstep early one morning in 2007. His brother had brought him from another province where we are not even working. And he came on the bus, and he was pleading, please do surgery on my feet. His feet were huge. They were so big he could not wear a pair of pants. The pants were slit all the way up above the knee. He could not wear our shoes. I had taken out the biggest pair of garden overshoes that are to go over shoes out there, and could barely fit them on his feet. We treated his feet. We gave him the bleach, the soap, the ointment, wrapped his feet in bandages, and told him to go back home and to continue with the treatment. A year and 4 months later, I have pictures of him. His feet are where he can wear these shoes without surgery. Mm-hmm. And now he's gone to vocational training. So he's a barber, and he can support himself with that.
That is a wonderful story. Those stories are fabulous. You're not going to believe this, but we're running out of time already. And I want you to tell our audience, what are your needs? Let them know what you need. How can people help? How can people get involved? Would you go ahead and share that with us?
Sure. Well, one of the things that you really could do is watch our website, www.mossyfoot.com. We really need the finances to be doing the work that we're doing in Ethiopia. We need the money to be able to produce these shoes for our clinic sites. We need to be able to buy shoes for our children. We need to be able to buy treatment kits. $8.50 a month will treat a patient. We need to have tires for our vehicles, and they wear out like every 4 months because we're going off-road and the roads are really rugged. So the tires wear out really, really quickly. We need money to pay our shoemakers, to pay for our people that are healthcare gospel agents and social workers out at the clinic sites. It's amazing, but for these 15 clinic sites and for our people that are on staff that are doing the work at the headquarters, we are doing all this with $20,000 a month. However, we have doubled the number of patients that we're seeing, so we need to increase the donations that we can reach more people. So far, we've reached about half the people in the Wolaita province. We need to have more clinics. We need to have more vehicles so we can reach more people. Also, the government has given us some land that we need to build a headquarters. Right now, we are in rented land. We can't put in the proper wiring to be able to use all of our shoemaking equipment. If we get our own land, our own property there where we can put in the wiring, we can make more shoes. We can also disseminate our information to other people who would like to help with this work in other areas in the country.
Again, let's have the website.
www.mossyfoot.com.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you for watching.
Awake in the passion.